إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. We covered quite a lot last week. Okay. What is bir? We say al-bir. Ma huwa al-bir?
I couldn't revise, but is it a good thing? Like, al-bir.
Al-bir.
Is it good or bad? I forgot.
Bir. What is bir?
It's anything pertaining to righteousness.
Anything. It's a general terminology that it is related to any good deed. Any good deed, yeah? And bir, we gave a definition of bir in it.
Imam Sa'di's
Sa'di said, yeah.
encompasses everything, statement or action, and hidden or apparent.
Yeah, that's
Hidden or not apparent.
anything. He gave the definition in his tafsir. وَتَعَاوْنَ عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. That bir, he is a corporate in the bir. He gave that definition in that ayah. That's what bir is. What is the bir in the hadith? Husnul khuluq. Good character. So good character is one of the bir, one of the righteousness we can have. Obviously bir is many. Bir, there are bir that relate to the heart, such as, what would you say, bir that relate to the heart?
If I do anything good, the heart will support. If I do anything bad, the heart will shake. Like heart will not support it.
No.
Is it not something like that?
Okay, loving Allah, ikhlas. The ayah in the Quran, لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ أَن تُوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ قِبِلَ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ. The righteousness is to turn from east to or west when you stand in the prayer. That's not the righteousness. But bir is what? وَلَكِنَّ بِرَّ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ وَالْكِتَابِ وَالنَّبِيِّينَ. But in fact, the bir is to believe in Allah, the last day, the books, or the angel, the books, and the Prophet, isn't it? So that's related to what? Heart. So Allah named us bir. So you got bir that relates to the heart, bir that relates to the limbs. Bir is a big subject. So the biggest part of our bir in the hadith is to have good adab, to have good character. Alhamdulillah. Then the rest of the hadith we said sins that makes your heart feel hesitant, and these like people to know about it. We covered the hadith, alhamdulillah.
Was it 27?
Yes, we're going to do 28 inshallah. Hadith 28. عن أبي نجيح العرباض بن سارية قال وعظنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم موعظة وجلت منها القلوب وذرفت منها العيون فقلنا يا رسول الله كأنها موعظة مودع فأوصينا قال أوصيكم بتقوى الله عز وجل واسمع وأطيع واسمع والطاعة سمع الطاعة وإن تمر عليكم العبد حبشي فإنه من يعيش منهم فسيرى اختلافا كثيرا فعليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين عضوا عليها بالنواجذ وإياكم ومحدثات الأمور فإن كل بدعة ضلالة. طيب, hadith Abu Najih Irbad bin Sariya, he said that Prophet ﷺ, he admonished us, advised us, and from it our heart were in fear and our eyes were in tears. So we said to Prophet of Allah, Ya Rasulullah, Ya O Messenger of Allah, as if this is last sermon, last speech for us. So advise us. Usikum bi taqwa. So Prophet, the first thing he advised them was to have taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal, piety of Allah. We'll cover all of them. Hear and obey. Even if you have somebody in authority over you, he's from Habasha. فَإِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِيشْ مِنْكُمْ, whoever lives long time, he will see a lot of differences. So if you see that, upon you to follow my sunnah and the sunnah of the Khulafa Rashidin Mahdiin, and hold on to the sunnah with the molar teeth. Owe to you and those new novelties in matters, every novelty is misguidance. Another narration says every misguidance will lead you to the hellfire. That's the hadith of today. Good at the hadith, mashallah. The first part of the hadith is وَعَذَنَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ مَوْعِظَةً. وَعَذَنَ is the word which means ma'idha, which means to admonish, which to remind. And reminding, my brothers, one of the part of our deen, very important part of our deen. And we covered some of the hadith about reminder, and more to come. One of the hadith, when a man came to Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, awsini, قال لا تغضب, فردد مرارا لا تغضب. So he said, Ya Messenger of Allah, advise me. And then what? Then he repeated and he said, don't be angry, don't angry. This part of the advice of the Prophet ﷺ, knowing the situation of the person, he advised him not to get angry. Now the hadith of the Prophet said that, Ya Rasulullah, akhbir bi amalin la asalu anka ghayr ahad. That tell me something, O Messenger of Allah, that I don't have to ask anyone after you. He advised me. So what did he advise him with? Same thing, he said, قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. Say, I believe in Allah and the last day. Say, I believe in Allah and then be steadfast. That was the advice of the Prophet to that Sahabi, radiallahu anhu. So advising is part of our deen. Okay, it's part of our deen. And the whole Quran, whole Islam is part of nasiha. Ya ayyuhan nas, qad ja'atkum, ya ayyuhan nas, qad ja'atkum maw'idatum min rabbikum. That all the mankind, that admonishment has come from your Lord to you. And this ayah here, maw'idah here means Quran. The Salaf said, this maw'idah is, admonishment is the Quran. So when we advise people, the admonishment should be something that will take them close to Allah Azza wa Jal. And this admonishment is something that when it reminds us of ayah of the Quran, things like that, we should remind us about Allah, and our heart should be full of fear of Allah Azza wa Jal. And one of the ayah that Allah described the believers, the one they hear the Quran and the verses, it trembles their heart, and it reminds them of akhirah, and the iman goes up. If that's how it should be when it comes to hearing the word of Allah. When we hear the word of Allah, it should remind us about Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah said in Surah Al-Anfal, the second ayah, Allah said, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِّرَ اللَّهُ وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تلت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. Indeed, the believers are, when the Quran is recited to them, the ayat of Allah, their heart is in fear, and the iman increases, and they put their trust in Allah Azza wa Jal. So that's the believers, that's how it should be. So when the maw'idah is given, either enjoying good, forbidding evil, whatever, in that line, inshallah, advice could be anything that will take the person too close to Allah Azza wa Jal. This advice the Prophet gave to them, it has an effect on the companions. And as you can see, we're going to read now, that when they heard the advice, maw'idah, their heart became in fear, and their eyes were in tears, because of the advice that they heard from the Prophet ﷺ. So the advice, reminder is good. Okay, the Quran is the advice for us. Okay, Allah says in the Quran, وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Okay, remind the benefit people. Okay, you might think, oh, he might know that, but remind him. Maybe that will do something that will hit him. Something will hit him and will wake him up. So we should remind one another. So this hadith was a reminder for the companions. So that was, it shook them up. So reminder should be that tahrib, ta'deeb, yeah. So, basically what it means is to encourage people to come to the deen and cause fear in their heart. Okay? Many advice could be anything. It doesn't have to be one thing, could be anything. You know, someone committing sin, you can advise him to fear Allah. Give him advice, don't put fear in his heart. Someone doesn't pray, practice the deen, you give him advice that will put fear in his heart. Okay? Something like that. So depend. So here, so there's Ya Rasulullah, as if this is the last admonishment, farewell. So is if his prophet going to, meaning he's going to leave, he's going to pass away. Allah will take his messenger away. So please advise us. Okay? So Prophet advised them. We realize advice is one of the deen of one of the important part of our deen. Deen nasiha, as we covered, deen is advice. Okay, so we have to advise one another to benefit. So the first advice, Prophet said, I advise you bi taqwallah. So one by one, he giving advice to all these hadith is advice, because they advise us. The Prophet didn't just stop there, he continued to advise them. So he said, I advise you with taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, what is taqwa? Books are written to explain this word. Okay? And in the Quran, you'll find a lot of ayah in the Quran about taqwa. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu taqullaha haqqa tuqatih. Or do they believe in Allah, they should be feared. Ya ayyuha nasu taqu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum min nafsin wahida. O mankind, worship, fear Allah, the one who created you from the clot of blood, from one soul. So, there are many verses in the Quran that talks about taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal. And taqwa is something that ulama have explained, is basically taqwa means to worship Allah alone, without associating anything with Him, okay, doing what He said, the fara'id, and leaving what He forbade, major sins. Leaving all the major sins and doing all the fara'id. And the ulama said, if someone were to do that, he's the wali of Allah. If he just does the fara'id and leave the major sins, then he's the wali, Allah's wali. Okay? Now, if someone wants to do more, no problem, he can do that more, inshallah. That's what is taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal. Some of the scholars, like Talq bin Habib, he said to the people, his companions, إذا أصابتكم فتنة فأطفئوها بالتقوى. If the fitna were to strike you, temptation, remove it with taqwa. فقالوا ما هو التقوى يا طلق؟ قال التقوى هو أن تعمل بطاعة الله على نور من الله ترجو ثواب الله وأن تترك المعصية الله على نور من الله تخاف عقاب الله. This is the biggest, one of the top definition of taqwa given by this Imam Talq bin Habib. He said taqwa is to worship Allah by obeying Him, okay, doing for His sake, having the faith in what you're doing, and hoping for the reward. Then he said, you abandon the sin, okay, having iman in that this is haram, and fearing His punishment. That's taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal. So let me give you an example for both. So for example, we do something which is commanded by Allah. For example, salah. Salah is wajib, we have to pray. So how do we apply this on the definition? So which means, I pray 5 times a day, ala nuri min Allah, meaning having faith in that act, having faith in salah. What is the faith? Is that I believe this is from Allah. Having that faith. And secondly, you pray, having the faith, hoping for the reward. Because you don't just pray 5 times a day, hoping reward from Allah. Allah worship you, but I don't need the reward. No, you hope the reward from Allah. The second part of the definition is that to leave the ma'asiyah, to leave the sins, okay, ala nuri min Allah, yani having faith this is haram. So I'm not going to drink alcohol because I believe this is haram from Allah. Allah made it haram. I'm going to leave that. And fearing the punishment. Understand? But we mentioned before in another hadith when we were explaining that a person who leaves the muharramat are two types. One who leaves for sake of leaving it, I'm just leaving it, I can't be bothered. Second person who leaves it, believing this is haram and fearing Allah. Then that person has worshipped Allah. And that person will get the reward. The other person will not get the reward. No, will get the sin. Okay? So when we leave haram, this is how we leave haram. So this is a Talq bin Habib. He explained taqwa. And this is, the ulama love this taqwa definition. This is one of the famous definitions.
Covers everything, both parts.
Yeah, covers everything. That's what taqwa is. The second part of another definition I like as well, to Abu Huraira and Ubay bin Ka'ab and Umar. So Umar went to Ubay bin Ka'ab. You should be at the way. Umar asking, Allahu Akbar, Amir al-Mu'minin, Ya Ubay, عبي ما هو التقوى؟ قال هل مشيت على الطريق ذا شوكة؟ قال نعم. قال ماذا صنعت؟ قال شمرت. Okay? Basically, he says, فذاك التقوى, he said. He said, Umar said, Ya Ubay, what is taqwa? He said, have you walked on a path which has thorn? He said, I did. He said, what did you do? He said, I lifted my garment and I walked very carefully. Okay? Very carefully. This is taqwa. Someone says, how is this taqwa? He's walking away from the shawka, from the thorn. It is taqwa because what is Ubay trying to say, Ubay radiallahu anhu to Umar, is that this path is your life. Okay? And the thorn represents the sins. Thorn represents the sins. So the way you avoided the thorn, avoid the sins. Because you think the thorn is going to hurt you, sin is going to hurt you more. So this is the definition of at-taqwa by Ubay bin Ka'ab to Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu when he asked him. So taqwa is from the, having the definitions now, is from taken from the wiqaya. Wiqaya is a barrier you put between you and muharramat, which Allah's boundary. Okay? So you put a barrier between you and what Allah made haram. Yani, you do not pass the boundary that's set by Allah Azza wa Jalla. You don't go over the boundary. Wiqaya is a barrier there. Taqwa is a barrier. So,
what's the word again?
Wiqaya. Wiqaya is from the word, taqwa is from the word wiqaya. So, if, for example, let me give you an example. If someone wants to do the haram, yeah? Say for example gambling, major sin, yeah? So, it's a limit, isn't it? You pass the boundary now. So for you to go in and do the gambling, which is the major sin, okay? You put a barrier between you and the haram. You don't go. It's a limit Allah set now. I can't go past the boundary. Okay? This is adhab of Allah. I can't go in there. So that's what is wiqaya is. You put a barrier between you and what Allah made haram. Okay? So Prophet ﷺ, when he said, Usikum bittaqwa, mean worship Allah, doing what He says, and leave what Allah forbade. All the haram, major sin, leave it and worship Him alone in oneness. That's what taqwa is. People say God fearing, but you know what? It's not enough. And you have to define to the people what taqwa really is, what the ulama have said. And Allah described the people of taqwa. إنما المتقين مفازا إن المتقين مفازا. Indeed the muttaqeen have the success, the victory. Another Zumar, I love this verse. Allah says in the Quran, وَسِيقَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا رَبَّهُمْ إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ زْمَرًا حَتَّى إِذَا جاءوها وفتحت أبوابها وقال لهم خزنتها سلام عليكم طبتم فادخلوها خالدين. Zumar, Allah make it one of those, Allahu Akbar. He said, Allah will say to the malaika, O my malaika, my slave, take this Zumar, the group of people. Take this group of people who had my taqwa. They had taqwa in me. Meaning, I feared Allah. No, they worshipped me in oneness. And they abandoned all the major sins. They have taqwa of me. Take them to the Jannah. Take them to Jannah. Okay? Escort them to Jannah. Until they come to the gate of Jannah, the malaika of the garden, of the gate will say, you've been good. Tibtum yani, you're good. Dunya, you're good. You worshipped Allah, you're righteous. Enter Jannah and abide there forever. But it's not going to be like this. Hadith explains also that at that moment, Prophet will come. We can't enter Jannah without Prophet, He will take the key. We don't know how the key looks like. He opened the door, okay? And he will knock on the door. And he will say, the Malaik will say, Man ant, who are you? He will say, Ana Muhammad bin Abdullah. I'm Muhammad son of Abdullah. He said, Umirtu bika an la aftah hadha al-bab illa lak, or fik. That I have been ordered not to open this door except for you. Okay? So, here, we enter Jannah because of the taqwa that we had. Level of Jannah will go up because of our taqwa. Otherwise, Iyadu Billah could have been in the hellfire. So the taqwa is one of the biggest attribute a human can have. He worships Allah alone with ikhlas, without any shirk, and he abandoned all the major sins. That's a literal, simple definition of taqwa. Okay? And if he does that, he's a muttaqi. He's a muttaqi. طيب, the first advice the Prophet ﷺ gave us.
You recited one ayah from Quran. What surah was that?
Which one?
Something 2 or 3.
Zumar. وَسِيقَ الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا Surah Zumar. Yeah. They'll find you, inshallah. So, the first advice the Prophet gave us is that to have taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal. وَالسَّمْعُ وَالطَّاعَةِ. Now here, sam' is to hear, ta'a is obedience. Now this, yeah, was-sam'i wa-ta'a, yeah. It should be was-sam'u because of the grammatical rule we have, was-sam'i wa-ta'ati. Now, these two words relate to the ulama, relates to the hukam, the rulers. That we have to obey the rulers in goodness. Okay? We have to obey the Amir in goodness, in ma'ruf. Okay? In many hadith says, obey the Amir and listen to him. Okay? Even if he oppresses you, take your wealth, obey them. And hear them and obey them. We have to obey them in ma'ruf. But we do not obey them in sins. As we know the hadith, لا طاعة المخلوق في معصية الخالق. There is no obedience to the creation when there is disobedience to Allah Azza wa Jal. So this relates to the rulers. Obedience is here related to the rulers. The hadith Prophet said that Man ata'ani faqad ata'a Allah. ومن أطاع الأمير فقد أعطاني ومن عصى الأمير فقد عصاني. That hadith goes like this: whoever obeys me, obeys Allah. Whoever disobeys the Amir has obeys the Amir has obeyed me. Whoever disobeys that Amir has disobeyed me. And whoever disobeys me has disobeyed Allah. طيب. So we are commanded by Allah and Messenger to obey the rulers who are commanding you to do ma'ruf without obeying them in sins. Allah says in the Quran, يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. Or those who believe, obey Allah and His Messenger and those in the authority over you. Those in the authority over you are two tafsir. One is ulama, one is hukam. And we have to obey the rulers in goodness. We're not allowed to revolt. We cannot revolt against the rulers because the mafsada is huge and immense. So Prophet ﷺ has forbade, not al-itlaq, there is some allowances in that, the ulama has mentioned, but general principle that we do not, looking at practically, not allowed, we do not revolt against the rulers because of the harm that will create on the community, as we can see. Hadith of Ubadah bin Samit radiyallahu anhu, قال بايعنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على سمعي والطاعة. That we have gave bay'ah to Prophet ﷺ, sam' wa ta'amin, to hear and obey. What does hear mean, sam'? That when we hear the command of Allah and His Messenger, okay, we have to do. We have to obey that. The ruler likewise, you have to obey him. If he's commanding you to do good, we have to obey him. We cannot disobey him. Even the hadith says, if his part of a limb has been cut off, doesn't look nice. So hadith says that doesn't matter how he looks like. And the hadith is going to come here, وَإِن تَأَمَّرَ عَلَيْكُمْ عَبْدٌ حَبَشِيٌّ. Okay, even if you have a slave from Habasha, you have to obey him. You have to obey the ruler. You cannot disobey him. Okay, according to the aqeedah of Ahlul Hadith, that we obey the rulers. We do not revolt against them, unlike the Khawarij, where they revolt against the rulers. They call mischief on the earth, fasad on the earth. Okay, so we don't follow their way, because this is the hikmah why we have to hold on to the hadith. Yani we do not revolt against the rulers. وَمَا آتَكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَأْخُذُوا وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. Whatever Prophet gave, take it. Whatever he forbids, leave it, abandon it. Okay, so this is very good advice, that we have to obey the rulers and listen to them in good deed, in good, not in sins. Then it says that فَإِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِيشْ مِنْكُمْ فَسَيَرَى اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Now next one is that those, okay, no, sorry, just let me just go back. Now regarding the obeying the Amir, just want to go back again, inshallah. The Khulafa Rashideen, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, yeah? Now they were made Khalifa. Abu Bakr was made Khalifa by the commandment of Allah Azza wa Jal. The Prophet gave the legacy that he will become Khalifa, Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr promised Umar, Umar became the Khalifa, and Uthman became Khalifa after 6 people were given the candidates. Uthman became the third Khalifa. Ali became, through the majority wanted him to be Khalifa, Ali became the Khalifa. Now the Khulafa Rashideen are 4. Scholars have differed, that Shaykh Saleh talks about it, that Umar ibn Abdul Aziz Khalifa Rashideen. The Khulafa Rashideen are the Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. He is one of the Khalifa. But the argument is that he's the 5th Khalifa. Then Shaykh says it can't be. Muawiyah was the Khalifa, and he's the one, was the just king we had, just ruler. So it is not befitting for Umar ibn Abdul Aziz to be 5th Khalifa when we left Muawiyah, who had Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz is a tabi'i. His son goes to Umar ibn Khattab. I think his great grandson or something. Something like that related to Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. But Muawiyah was a Sahabi radiallahu anhu. So why are we giving the credit to Umar ibn Abdul Aziz over Muawiyah, who is the Sahabi radiallahu anhu? But no doubt the Salaf, Imam Ahmad, who affirmed that Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was from the Khulafa Rashideen. One of the title was given to him as well. طيب. Now when it comes to electing Khalifa, I'm going to use the word elect, but I can't see anything else I can use in English. Is that there are 2 categories. One is ikhtiyar. One is ikhtiyar is selected by the group. Abu Bakr, Umar, they're selected by, happily he was selected. Okay? Another one is ijbar. They're selected by force. So they come and take over it. And they say, I'm a leader, I'm an Amir, you have to follow me. What does the ulama say about this? The ulama says, you have to obey him still. You still have to obey him. Why? Dar'ul mafasid muqaddim ala jalb al-masalih. Pushing the harm away, take the precedent over, gaining the benefit. Okay. Abdullah, he forced in and became a Khalifa. Okay? He forced in. He got the power. Now you wanna topple him over? What's the benefit? Little bit benefit, mafsada is great. People are gonna die. So you obey him in good. You obey him good. So Khilafa al-Ikhtiyariya, al-Khilafa al-Ijbariya. Ijbari, force. Someone came up on you, forcefully want to take over this authority. So if someone does that, Islamically, that we should follow him for greater benefit, to remove the mafsada. Because if you want to topple him down, he's not going to come down, he's going to fight you, yadhu billah. And he's going to cause fasad on the earth, on the community. So we say, okay, we obey you in good. Obey you in good. So the ulama explains those things. And then the khuruj are two types. Khuruj which is lafziya, and khuruj is bataniya. Khuruj jasadiyya. Khuruj lafziya is utterance, which is khuruj done by verbally. Verbally you do khuruj, okay? And that is happened. Some scholars have done that, and it is allowed. Because no bloodshed in the khuruj, silent. And the khuruj badaniya, which is physically going out, this is what hadith talks about. It's haram because of the greater mafsada the person can create in the community. That's why we're not allowed to do khuruj. But some of the fatwa allow you to do khuruj with conditions though. It's conditioned that the khuruj is, you have amir, you have controlled, and there's no bloodshed. Another one is kufrul bawah, open kufr. But if you don't have first three, you can't do khuruj. If you have the first three, four, but even they said that by doing that, if you lead to more bloodshed, you don't do khuruj. Even for the kufr bawah, open kufr, you can't. Yeah. So
what does it mean?
Kufr, open disbelief. So for example, the ruler openly calling you to worship him. Okay, he claimed to be God, But there are fatwas where it says that if he's openly calling you to worship him alone, make him God and things like that, there should be a way to bring him down. I think the Bin Baz said that. Yeah, Shaykh Bin Baz. The fatwa is there. Some of the ulama allows it because he's calling you to worship him alone. Nothing greater than the mafsada than this. طيب يا إخوان. So here فعليكم بسنتي وسنة خلفاء الراشدين مهديين. So Prophet said that upon you to follow my sunnah. So Prophet ﷺ has sunnah, okay, and the many hadiths. Prophet said in the hadith that, so this word alaykum mean upon you, necessitates wajib, necessitates that you have to follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, it's an optional thing. My sunnah, the hadith says, khairul hadi, best guidance, my guidance. That's one of the hadiths. He also said that, taraktukum la in tamassaktum bihi lan tadillu kitabullah sunnati. That I have left between you, that if you were to hold on to it, lan tadillu. This word lan means you never be misguided if you were to hold on to it. It's book of Allah, my sunnah. So Prophet said that upon you to follow my sunnah, okay, and sunnah of the khulafa rashidin. Khulafa is the plural of khalifa. Rashidin, plural of rashid, which is rushd, opposite of dalala, misguidance. And khulafa rashidin, mahdin. So upon to follow my sunnah of the khulafa who are rightly guided, okay, to follow their sunnah as well. The many hadiths, Prophet ﷺ, he says that, this is one of the hadiths. He also said, خَيْرُ الْقَرْنِ ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ. That the best of generation, my generation, those who follow after them, then those who follow after them. He also said in the hadith that, اقْتَدُوا بِالَّذَيْنِ بَعْدِ. Follow two people after me, Abu Bakr, Umar. He says that. So follow two people after me, Abu Bakr and Umar. So here, Prophet ﷺ advising the people that to follow his sunnah and sunnah of the Khulafa Rashidin, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. Now, these are the four Khulafa Rashidin. After Rasulullah ﷺ, best of them mankind, Abu Bakr, then Umar, then Uthman, then Ali. Okay? Now, Shaykh al-Islam says that, no difference of opinion against Abu Bakr and Umar. Abu Bakr is better than everyone, then Umar, then Uthman. Now, regarding Uthman and Ali, Shaykh al-Islam says that if someone were to say Ali is better than Uthman, you're okay, you're safe. It's not haram. Okay? But if you say Uthman better than Abu Bakr or Umar, then it's dalala, misguidance. To say Ali is better than Uthman, some of the Salaf believe that. Okay? They hold the opinion that Ali was better than Uthman. Okay, that's okay, no problem with that. But if someone says that Ali should have been a Khalifa over Uthman, then Shaykh al-Islam said this is misguidance. Because this is what Allah has chosen for them. For you to say other way around, you are questioning Allah's qadr. Okay? So, then the question comes, if Uthman was the third, Allah put him there, so he must be better than Ali. But both have fada'il, both have virtues between Uthman and Ali. You know, who is better than who? You can discuss and read, find out who's best. But I personally believe that Uthman, because the fact Allah put him there, made him third Khalifa, after over Ali, then he must be better than Ali in certain things. Allah knows best. And his fada'il is greater than Ali. And then Ali, the fourth Khalifa Rashidin. So the scholars have spoken about this, and they mentioned that there's a khilaf between Uthman and Ali, but there's no khilaf between Abu Bakr and Umar. Okay, that's nas. So these are four Khulafa Rashidin, Mahdiyin. Also, Umar bin Abdul Aziz, one of the Khulafa Rashidin, to say fifth, then we're putting him over Muawiyah, who was their Khalifa as well for a certain period of time. And he's better than Umar because he's a Sahabi radiallahu anhu. طيب, الله أعلم. طيب, عضوا عليها بالنواجذ. Now here, عضوا عليها بالنواجذ. Nawajid is talking about the molar teeth. Addu is to hold on to it very strongly. Because when you bite something, if you want to get a rope and bite, what would you bite it from? The molar teeth, isn't it? This is metaphoric, not physical. But the way you can hold something with your molar teeth, hold onto your sunnah like this. Don't leave your sunnah, practice your sunnah, worship Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? Don't leave the sunnah. وَإِيَّاكُمْ وَمُحْدَثَاتِ أُمُورٍ. Oh, to you and the new novelties. Muhdathat is full of muhdatha, which mean new novelties in your matters of the deen. Another hadith, man ahdatha fi amrina hadha ma laysa fahuwa rad, that whoever innovates anything in our deen which doesn't belong to will be rejected. Man amila amal laysa alayhi amruna fahuwa rad, whoever does an action that belongs to our deen will be rejected. So this is called bid'ah. Okay? It's called bid'ah. What is bid'ah? In lughatan ma'nahu ikhtira', to invent something. In Shar'an we say هو اختراع شيء على غير مثال السابق. It's to create something which has no mithal. There's no likeness to it previously. Okay? So bid'ah two types, bid'ah in dunya and bid'ah in Islam. Bid'ah in dunya, no problem. You have ikhtira', you have invention in dunya, different cars, different building, you know, whatever you can, clothes, whatever you can think of. That's halal, there's nothing to know with that. But ikhtira' bid'ah fi deen, muharram. Innovation in Islam is haram. Okay? So in Islam, if you were to say, pray Dhuhr 5 raka'at, okay, which is haram, bid'ah. And what have I done? I've done bid'ah. Why? Because I've done something no one ever done. So this is called bid'ah. غير مثال السابق. Something never passed by, something never came, you know, you're doing something never been advanced before you. So nothing been practiced by you. There's la as fi shara'. There's no basis in the sharia to do that. That's bid'ah. So bid'ah, different level of bid'ah. The bid'ah which is mukaffira, that will take out of all of Islam. Bid'ah which is fisq, which is ma'asi. Different levels of bid'ah. Bid'ah which is the sins. So different levels of bid'ah. Some bid'ah will take out of all of Islam. Some which is a major sin. Some which is the sin, you know. So different levels of bid'ah. And so any form of bid'ah that in Islam, this is what he's talking about. In Islam, any form of bid'ah is talking about is here. This is what Hadith is talking about. What Umar ibn Khattab said, نِعْمَةُ هَذِهِ الْبِدْعَةِ. What a beautiful bid'ah this is. You know, Umar said, talking about bid'ah linguistic meaning, which means to create something, there was nothing like that. So what he did, nobody ever done it. Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, what he did, this bid'ah, which is bid'ah, yeah. no shar'an, no Islamic bid'ah, that he invented something that no one ever practiced that such a way.
What was it?
Umar,
And what was it?
the Tarawih, okay? The Tarawih, when I said that, what a beautiful bit that this is, talking about Tarawih. Because when Rasulullah passed away, Abu Bakr passed away, when he became Amirul Mu'mineen, the people were praying in different jama'at. He got them together to play one jama'ah. So he done something no one done. So that, what he did, this gathering, unification, in one masjid for Tarawih, that's bid'ah itself. No one ever done that. Linguistically, that's bid'ah, yeah. That's what he meant. That's what he meant. Shar'an, you think Umar will be doing bid'ah, a'udhu billah. طيب. فإن كل بدعة ضلالة. Indeed, every bid'ah is ضلالة, misguidance. Okay? So this is the adab of bid'ah. It will not take, you will misguide you, will take you away from the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. Not close to Allah. Okay? So these are some of the nasiha of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam given to the companions. So first one is taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal. Second one is to obey, hear and obey whoever the leader going to be. If he's from Habashi, فإنه من يعيش منكم فسيرى اختلافا كثيرا. Whoever lives among you will see a lot of ikhtilaf. That's scholars have said this is the mu'jiza. He's saying something that's going to happen in future. Okay? A bit of ikhtilaf. What does it mean here, ikhtilaf? Now, does it mean ikhtilaf is haram? It does not mean haram. You got different levels of ikhtilaf, different types of ikhtilaf, difference of opinion. In the Hadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Hadith of Umar radiallahu anhu, when he sent some of the group of companions, and he said to them, do not pray your Asr.
Do not pray Asr until you get to
Bani Qurayza. So Prophet said that do not pray your Asr until you go to Bani Qurayza. So this is the hadith shows that you can have a khilaf. So some of the companions, when they made their journey, when the Asr came, some prayed, some left it. Okay? So they were battling it out. They said, we're going to pray because time for Asr. The others said, no, we're not going to pray. Prophet said, don't pray until you go to Bani Qurayza. Okay? Those who prayed, they prayed, and those who didn't pray, they didn't pray. They obeyed Prophet of Allah. Okay, they both groups went, and when they reached their destination, when they came back, they told Prophet what happened. He did not reprimand any of the group. They all did right. So they had their understanding. Okay, it's time for Salah, we have to pray Salah. Ayah in the Quran. One of the great Imam, his name is Badruddin Zarkashi. He said, اعلم أن الله عز وجل تعالى لم ينصب على جميع الأحكام شرعية أدلة قاطعة بل فعلها ظنية. He said that, know that Allah Azza wa Jal, He did not mention for every ahkam of Shari'iyah evidences. Some of them He made qat'iyah, some of them He made dhanniyah. So some of the adillah, the evidence are two types, qat'iyah and dhanniyah. Qat'iyah is definite, like Tawheed of Allah, Muharramat, zina, murder, alcohol. Qat'iyah, disobeying your parents, okay, gambling, backbiting, slandering. These are qat'iyah. Adillah, clear proof says these are haram, these are major sins. There's no ifs and buts, there's no doubt in it. Allah directly revealed to say these are haram, these are major sins. Dhanniya is something that there's no clear evidence. The ulama make istinbat, they derive from Quran and Sunnah, and they come to an analogy to derive the hukum of that. Okay? So Allah left it for dhanniya. So certain ahkam shar'iyya here, a lot of things ulama have to do istinbat from their knowledge that they have to come to a hukum.
5 minutes. 5 minutes left.
Hmm?
5 minutes. 2 minutes.
What's istinbat?
Istinbat, to derive, to come to a conclusion. Okay, so ikhtilaf, two types. Ikhtilaf which is accepted, that is ikhtilaf that in masala fiqhiyya, and ikhtilaf which is غير معتبرة, which is not accepted. For example, one of the evidences, one of the thing is khilaf. There's no khilaf in that. Ahnaf take the opinion, but there's no evidence. For example, when you make takbiratul ihram, we say Allahu Akbar. That's ijma, consensus. So, some Ahnaf said you can say anything that praises Allah. So Allahu A'zam, Allahu Ajal, something like that. That's not allowed. This is not, prayer won't be accepted. Your prayer won't be accepted. This is not takbiratul ihram, because every hadith we see the Prophet did not say except Allahu Akbar. So this is not a khilaf. Even if it's a khilaf, this is not accepted khilaf. Some khilaf is not accepted, some generally is accepted khilaf. But the khilaf is on, there is no khilaf, the ulama says, Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn al-Qayyim, and other ulama, Shaykh Aman al-Jami, rahimahumullah, so there is no khilaf with Ashab Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those who came after them, in aqidah. In belief, there is no khilaf. In asma wa sifat, in aqidah, fundamental principle, Ahl Sunnah, Ahl Hadith, there is no khilaf in that. There is no difference of opinion in that. Okay, they all have same aqidah. Okay, but in fiqh, masala fiqh, issues relate to the fiqh, then we have difference of opinion among the scholars. Okay, ikhwan. So this is, alhamdulillah, we covered this hadith. We'll leave it now, inshallah, for next one. Jazakumullah khair. We leave it now. If you can't ask question, we leave it then, inshallah. You can leave for next week.
Just a quick question. The Shia people believe that Hazrat Ali should be the first Khalifa. They said there's no indication from Allah or Rasul that Hazrat Abu Bakr should be the first Khalifa. Is it true?
No, Prophet gave indication.
What type
Prophet
of
indication? He allowed it once. One of the indication, he always showed Abu Bakr is better than everyone. And the Sahabas radiallahu anhum, when Prophet was sitting there and they said Abu Bakr is better than all of us, Prophet accepted that. Okay? One Prophet became ill. Yeah? He couldn't lead the prayer. What did he say? Why is Abu Bakr? Let him lead the prayer. What do you think the companion can understand? He's not mentioning anyone. Being Abu Bakr. When he went anywhere, he took who? Abu Bakr. Okay? Abu Bakr, who was in the cave? Prophet and Abu Bakr. Who migrated Medina? Prophet and Abu Bakr. That's his companion. And he gave a lot of signs that he's going to be the best of next Khalifa, no doubt. So, and when Abu Bakr became Khalifa, and he promised Umar will be Khalifa. He gave him a gesture to Umar, and Umar became Khalifa.
Rasul.
Yeah. So, one of the Sahabis says, I mean, they agree that when Umar, one of the companions says, Wallahi, I don't see anyone who can take over this responsibility better than Umar. And Umar became the Khalifa. And he was given the Amir al-Mu'mineen, the title. So Shia, I mean, they're upon dalala anyway, a'udhu billah. They're going to say whatever they're going to say. Yeah. We love Ali more than they love Ali. You worship Ali, we don't worship Ali. A'udhu billah. So they are upon me dalala anyway, so let them say whatever they want to say. Akhi, they say worse than that. They said that Ali should have been a prophet for Khalifa. He should have been a prophet. One prophet became Rasulullah. Ali was a young boy. How is he going to be a prophet? He's 40 years old. Ali is 10 years old. How is he going to take the responsibility of becoming so you think Allah made mistake then? And he said the Quran was going to wrong place for 23 years. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So Abu Bakr is the next Khalifa, is online, no doubt. Sahaba knew that. There's no disagreement on that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also, when Prophet said that for anything that you guys have done for me, I've repaid you, except Abu Bakr, because he can't repay Abu Bakr.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah.
He said that for anything.
Who said that?
The Prophet said, for anything that any of you have done for me, I've repaid you. Illa Abu Bakr, except Abu Bakr. I can only let Allah repay him on the day of judgment because he's done too much for him.
Allah.
Also, I had a question. You said Khilafah. There's two types of Khilafah: elected and forced. What was the two names? Khilafah.
Khilafah al-ikhtiyariya. You have to select them. You select people. And ijbar is majboor. Ijbar, you force. Jahran, you forcefully come and take it. Shaykh Salih mentioned that in Arba'in. Shaykh Salih al-Shaykh.
What was the qaida?
درء المفاسد مقدم على جلب المصالح. That's the principle. Pushing away the harm, okay, take the precedence over gaining benefit. So when the person forcefully can become a Khalifa, that's the qaida we use. Because if you want to force him out, the mafsad is going to be great.
Even more
More harm. So you can push him away, you get a little bit benefit, but the harm is greater. So we let him be where he is to prevent the harm. Okay, follow him in ma'ruf, follow him in what is good. Yeah, go on.
Could you mention again the name of the ikhtilaf that's not accepted?
غير معتبر.
No, we should accept.
غير
غير معتبر. This is the name I'm giving. The khilaf that we should accept it. The one I gave it to you regarding takbir al-ihram. Shaykh, the ulama talks about it in the fiqh. I think Zad al-Mustaqni is there. That they say this is not a khilaf. It's not accepted khilaf anyway. It's not even a khilaf to say. You can say whatever you want to say as long as you're praising Allah. No other ulama, Ahnaf they say it, but no other ulama have accepted this. So this is khilaf, but it's not accepted.
What about Sadr?
Hmm?
Sadr. Malikiya.
This is,
Is it accepted?
but this is not going to nullify your prayer anyway.
It's not.
No, that's not going to nullify your prayer. No.
No, but is it?
Oh, I don't know if there's a khilaf on this.
But
The Malikiya.
But the Sahih Hadith that.
Yeah.
Hadith is here, isn't
Is
it?
it not wajib to put your right over your left?
Yeah. So wouldn't
That's
that?
from the wajibat.
That's no wajib. La. That's no wajib to salah.
Yeah, I thought that's what we learned.
Putting here, Imam Ahmad said there's no hadith, they put it on the chest.
Not put it on the chest, not chest, right over your left. There's hadith in Bukhari.
Yeah, but it's not wajib, is it? Does it nullify your salah?
No, right over the left.
Yeah, that's not wajib, is it?
So can you do left over the right and it's allowed, but it's khilaf sunnah.
It's khilaf sunnah, yeah.
If you
But it
do
should be,
left over right,
left on, light should be on the left. That's sunnah, isn't it?
So your prayer is still accepted if you do
Yeah,
left over
yeah.
right.
No, that will nullify your prayer. Will that nullify your prayer? La.
Left over right.
Yeah, that's not going to nullify your prayer.
But it's the khilaf of sunnah.
What nullifies your prayer is when you leave the rukun.
No.
Rukun salah.
The first of salah.
Sunnah. No, it's sunnah. It can't be. What nullifies your prayer if you leave takbiratul ihram? Khalas. If you leave it knowingly, unknowingly, your salah is invalid. If you leave Surah Fatiha, knowingly, salah is nullified. If you leave it unknowingly, then the ruku is gone. It nullifies the ruku, rak'ah. So if you leave wajibat knowingly, nullifies the salah. But this doesn't nullify, it's sunnah, isn't it? There's sort of sunnah. So we're going to cover this in Umda, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.
Who's going to shut the door?